Huge Litecoin and Bitcoin move coming. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. We're going to take a look at Litecoin, take a look at Bitcoin, and then at the end of the video, again, if you guys stick around, we're going to look at the gold chart compared to the Bitcoin chart and look at the similarities. It's amazing. Also, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. I really appreciate you guys. We reached 1,000 subscribers. I couldn't do it without you. And I'm going to make this video real quick. It's Saturday. I got a lot of stuff to do. So we're going to take a look at it real quick and see where we're headed.
1, 2, 3, jump!
All right, guys. As always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or any investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind that this is a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. And if you haven't already or you're new here, please hit the subscribe button on the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell. That'll get you notified whenever I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything. Also, smash those likes. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think, guys. I really appreciate it. The comments and the likes really help the channel out. So, yeah. Also, if you could, share the video if you belong to any groups. And let's get into it. This is Litecoin on the daily. And as you can see, obviously, down here, we had the golden cross. And that helped us get this push up. I do believe we have more to go. We could have a little bit more downside, but as of right now, I think we have more to go before we see a real correction. So let's look at the measured moves real quick, and don't forget to stick around to the end and look at the gold chart versus the Bitcoin chart. We'll get into the RSI too. It's really interesting, so make sure you stick around for it. But anyway, obviously these are pretty high targets we're looking at, and I did raise these a little bit by a couple bucks each. And we're gonna take a look at this measured move here, and this is the flagpole. And this is the flag forming. Now, guys, this flag could come back down all the way to the $80 range, or possibly come back down and touch the $75 range, somewhere in here. Maybe as low as 73, 75, somewhere in there. Now, that's possible, but as I said in the beginning, I'm bullish here. So take the flagpole to where we break out in the bull flag here, and that would bring us up to the 127 area, which would also meet up with this trend line I have drawn from these. There's 3 touches down here that verifies the trend, and this line here, and that would get us right up to that $127 range. Now, if we move further, you know, it could change a little bit, but that's where I'm at with that. I do see us getting up to that $127 range at least, or $112 range at least, possibly $127 before a correction. So let's look at the RSI real quick. And as you can see, I had this. You can see I had this rising channel here, also with the rising wedge, and we're right in here right now. We could come up, touch this top of this rising wedge, which would probably be around this line somewhere in the 105 area, and maybe get a little resistance and then come up to touch the top of this, which I believe would get us up to the 127 area. Now let's go into the 4-hour and see what it's looking like. Here's the 4 hours. You can see I had this symmetrical triangle or symmetrical wedge drawn here, which we've, you know, gotten resistance, 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 support, support, support. And then we broke through up here, came up, came back down, tested for support, broke back through. And now you can see I have this trend line drawn here, which we've got 4 support touches. And we're going back up towards the top of that triangle now. And I do see us getting up there. And let's go into the 4-hour. And I'll look at a couple more immediate moves that are possible. So I have this flagpole here. This flagpole here drawn, and this as the bull flag, which would come down right here. know if you guys can see that or not, but the measured move off that is from the breakout right here, looking at this as the flag. That gives us that 112 area. Now let me get this out of the way and take a look at, we're going to look at this as the whole bull flag like we did in the daily a second ago. And if we look at that as the whole bull flag, and the breakout being, looking at this here as the flag instead, the breakout would be, and that's if we break out here, that's what gets us up to the $127 range, guys. Like I said, I am bullish here, but do keep an eye out. If we break through this bottom line here, we could be coming back down to the 80, or like I said, possibly the 73 area. Worst case scenario, we come back down and touch this trend line, which would be around the $60 range. But guys, I don't see that. I do believe we're moving up. So hold on a second. Sorry about that. Stupid phone. Anyways, apologize for that, guys. I don't want to restart the video. Like I said, it's the weekend. I got a lot to do. We're going to get into Bitcoin now. And as you can see, I raised these targets a little bit also. So I know it looks like a lot of targets, kind of messy there, guys, but I didn't have a whole lot of time to go through the chart this morning, but I do want to show you what I'm seeing. So we'll start out right here with this bull flag, this flag pull here, looking at this as a bull flag, which I also measured on this line here with this being the tip. So let's take a look at this one first. If we were to break out here, that gets us right around that $6,000 range. And guys, if you've been watching my videos, I've been bullish since December, and when everybody was bearish, now everybody's turning bullish. But I've been bullish this whole time. So now looking at this as the flag pull, and then this is the flag coming down. I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to go into the RSI. We do have to keep in mind, if we break down below this line here, and I have had my 8 EMA cross my 200 EMA right here, which is bullish. So I do believe we're going to continue up. So, but in worst case scenario, you know, we could come back down to as far as the 4250 range and touch this trend line here. But I don't see that happening now, guys. I do believe we're going to continue up. And as you can see, I do have this rising wedge in the daily. And this, we've came down. We could come down a little bit more, you know, and continue making this bull flag, and then come back up to touch the top of it again. So let's get into the 4 hour, and then I'll show you the other targets I have in there. So looking at the 4 hour now, we have the same thing. I have this. Let's go into the RSI real quick. As you can see, I had this symmetrical triangle or symmetrical wedge here with that rising channel that we've been getting resistance and support off of. I do believe we're going to come up, test the top of this, maybe get some resistance there and break through, and then come up for our final touch, which is going to get us that higher range. So let me go into the 4 hour now, and we're going to look at the targets I have here. Obviously, this is a target we had already hit last week. So looking at this here as the, zoom in a little bit, as the flagpole, this whole thing, and if you can see this red line I have here and over here, if we take the measured move off that flag and put it up here where we're breaking out right now, that gets us to the 5,055 range, somewhere in there, 5,060, 5,055. And I do believe we get up to at least there, but I am looking at higher targets than that, obviously. If we look at the breakout from here, that gets us to the 6,000 range. If we measure this whole pull here, counting this wick up here, that's what gets us up to the $62, or I'm sorry, 6,200 range, 6,220, somewhere in there. So guys, I do remain bullish here, and I want to let you guys know that. Now we're going to Well, like I said, also remember to keep watching the bottom of this line, which is around the $5,000 range. If we break down below that, we could be going as low as right into the 4250 range. You know, making what they call the BART pattern or whatever, but I don't see it, guys. I'm still bullish here. Now we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart versus the gold chart. And the gold chart's on the weekly, Bitcoin's on the daily. So Bitcoin is like a sped up version of the gold chart. And if you look right here, we never had a big capitulation candle, just kind of a rounded bottom, which is the same as we're seeing in the Bitcoin chart right here. Now I've drawn a dotted line from the all-time high across to where it broke down from 6,000 all the way across. And then I did this solid line from the second peak all the way across. And then each peak, I made these gray lines across, and we're going to take a look at those in a second. But I do think this is, you know, what we're looking at in Bitcoin right now. And you look right around 2003, which would be right in this area. This is when the gold ETF was approved. And I do believe there's going to be some big news, whether it be ETF or something different. There's going to be some big news because you've heard the saying, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. I do truly believe in that. And something's about to happen here. And I do believe, you know, I'm not saying we're going to shoot straight up now, guys. So don't get me wrong. We're going to have corrections and whatnot getting there. And we've got some resistance to get through, obviously. We could go back down, test the, you know, the lowest I see us going is testing this the bottom long-term support line, which, as you can see, we had 2 touches on it in the gold here. And we've already had our 2 touches on Bitcoin. So I do believe that we're going to continue up from here. And like I said, it's not going to be straight up, guys. There's going to be corrections. So let's zoom in a little bit and look at these lines I've had from each peak that I was talking about. And if you'll notice, every time we hit one of those lines, we get resistance and we break through, sometimes test it for support and then go back up to the next line. Stick around for the RSI too. It's interesting. But as you can see, we come up here, we get resistance, and then we break through, we come back down, test it for support. We go to the next line, resistance, get breakthrough, come back down, test it for support. We get resistance here, resistance, breakthrough. Then we got to the next line, resistance, broke through. This one didn't give us much resistance. So I do believe it's possible that we do come back down to test this one in worst case scenario. And I do believe we'll get a bounce from here. So anyways, now we're getting resistance from this line here. If we break through, you know, our next stop is the 5,500 range, and that was one of the targets there. And if we break through that, then obviously we're looking up at the $6,200 range and possibly higher, guys. We'll have to see how it plays out. But let me go into the RSI here. This is pretty interesting. We're going to go into the weekly. And you look, I have these 2 trend lines drawn on the weekly. And this is the 2013 bull run, 2017 bull run. And this is the 2014 bear market, 2014-15 bear market. And if you see, look at this trend line where we were getting resistance, and we broke through. And then we got resistance on this line here, came back down and then broke through. Well, if we look at the current bear market, which I think is over, we got resistance on the trend line here, resistance here, come back down, and we broke through, and we never got resistance at this line here, which that could be where we come back down to test for support when we get a rejection. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, like I said, I do believe the bear market's over, and I've been saying that since December when everybody was still bearish. Now I'm going to look into the monthly and look at the monthly RSI. Extremely interesting also. I've drew the 2 arcs here. And just like before, this is the monthly, and this is the 2013 bull run, and then the bear market, 2017 bull run, and then the bear market. If you look at these arrows, I put an arrow at each low on the RSI, and there was 4 in the bear market over here, and we've had 4 in the bear market over here. Now we could, trend sideways, like I said, probably get a correction and RSI move down here, but I believe by the end of this year, we'll be in a very nice uptrend, if not before, guys. So that's about it for now. Sorry the video was so quick and kind of run through, kind of choppy, but like I said, it's the weekend. I got things to do. So if you haven't already, click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys. Leave the comments. Really helps me out. And yeah, have a good weekend. I hope everybody has a good and safe weekend. Take it easy.